Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM19 story, part of the Furniture with me, Daniel. It's season 10 episode 2, and today we play our first game in our brand new Torquay stadium as we look to get off to a winning start in our new ground and turn it into a fortress for this championship season. I've started on this screen, which is my profile, to show you what's going on and how we're developing as a manager, as well as to show off our now 3-star reputation, as well as trying to avoid any spoilers from the last episode. If you haven't seen that one yet, it's important you go back and check it out. We introduced all of our new summer signings, some massive transfer news both coming in and going out of the club. We also talked about our new tactic and showed off the formation we'd be using this year and which players would be shining in it. So it's a really important episode for the rest of this season, so if you haven't seen it yet, go back and check it out. I'll put a link in the eye above and then pop back over when you're done to see our first home game of the season. But I've given you enough time to avoid the spoilers now. We're going to go back to the home screen so we can see where we stand at the moment. You'll find out the result of our first game of the season. We won 3-1 away to Derby County, so I don't want to speak too soon and say that the formations worked, the tactics worked, or our signings are brilliant, because we started brilliantly last year. We were top of the league after a few months and then had a disastrous spell midway through the season. It's good to see my beloved Luton Town up there as well. Wouldn't it be a dream if both us and them got promoted to the Premier League? But I'm sure that's not going to happen. At least one of us will fall away, and in all likeliness it'll probably be both. But if we take you to look at that result quickly, it really was a good performance. Away from home at Pride Park, a full house there for Derby. They got a late goal through a Luton youth prospect nonetheless. He came through at the club years and years ago. It was their first season's youth intake actually. He scored an absolute screamer from the edge of the box, but it wasn't before Armando Broja had wrapped up a hat-trick and secured us the 3 points already. Some really promising performances by Allingham and Rutherford, our 2 new star signings as well. Lewis was okay on his return to fitness, and we looked really solid defensively, particularly with Richard Quark, who, as I'm sure you will have guessed if you watched the last one, is no longer with us at the club. So as I've mentioned that, we should probably go and look at the transfers. Those of you that watched the last episode knew we hadn't yet had any big sales, but there were 3 on the cards, and all 3 of them have now left the club, leaving us with £35.5 million worth of transfer income this year. We sold Robson Brown for £2 million in guaranteed money, rising to 2.5. He's a decent centre-half, but was going to be a backup this year, so I'm delighted to get that much for him. We then sold Cliff Wheeler, our young backup striker, £8 million in guaranteed money, rising to 12.25. Again, both of those had the 50% sell-on clause, as does Richard Quark, the one man we really didn't want to lose, our first ever world-class superstar coming through the youth intake, and he's gone to Southampton for £25 million. A Premier League side taking a player off our hands. They've given him 37 grand a week, and they have now given us the option to loan him back, but only if we pay the full wages, and I was going to say as well as a monthly fee, but that is no longer there. So if we did have 37 grand we could offer, which apparently we do, but I'm certainly not going to be paying that for this player. If we go and have a look at our squad at the moment, although Richard Quark's going to be amazing, he's not currently any better than our right backs at the club, so it seems silly to waste that money when our best paid player at the moment is on £13,000 a week. So treble the amount for a player with similar ability, and ironically our highest paid player at the moment isn't even in the first 11. That's due to the signing of Rutherford on loan. So a really promising prospect for us. We've got a really good strong squad, although we are still weak in a few positions and just one injury away from disaster. For example, we still haven't got a backup keeper in the first team. Our second best goalkeeper at the club is 1.5-star rated Willard Unlove, who's our under-19 keeper, who's too old for the squad but not good enough to be in the first team. So there's still a few areas we could improve, but we've got 2 days of the window after this game, and we'll certainly have some players coming in before the Carabao Cup first round. But let's get into today's game. We're christening the new stadium. We want to go in and have a look at it and hope we can turn it into a fortress. We're playing Bradford City, who are perennial bottom half finishers. They're always scrapping against relegation, and I hope we can do ourselves proud today and really give the fans something to cheer about. We had a news item to say our season ticket sales were up. They had increased to about 5,500, and you can see we're expecting to sell 14,000 tickets today, almost at the capacity, and it shows just how big a difference this ground is going to make, as we couldn't sell out more than 6,200 at our old ground. So let's go and look at the lineup for today. It'll be ever familiar for those of you who looked at our last episode and saw the tactic we were introducing. We've made just one change to the starting lineup, and that's enforced with Richard Quark leaving. Nico Williams drops from right midfield to right back, and Cohen comes in on the right of midfield. If you don't know what any of these players' attributes look like, or you're wondering who they are, then as I said before, go back and check out the last episode. We introduced all of these players and this tactic in plenty of detail. But our lineup for today is Alex Bass, the ever-dependable goalkeeper, Otte and Nico Williams are the fullbacks, very attack-minded ones at that, Shalabar and Reece Williams are the centre-halves, Rowan McDonald in a holding role with Cohen and Lewis on the wings, and Allingham in that number 10 position, behind Armando Broja and Rutherford up front. Armando Broja with a hat-trick in his first game, really looking good now, 55 caps for Albania, and he's going to be a key player for us in this target man role. So let's get into the first home game of the season, and our first home game at the Torquay Stadium, and fingers crossed we can really do something special. I can't wait for this moment to see what it looks like in game. It's a very defensive 4-1-4-1 for Bradford. They're looking to contain us. Look at those stands. We've got 2 tiers and plenty of seats. This is something we've really wanted to see. You were used to the little 1-tier terrace and seats down at the old Plainmoor Stadium. This is a thing of beauty, and all of those corners could be filled in future years as we look to expand the capacity towards 30,000. I'm absolutely overwhelmed by the look of it. We've got all the advertising hoardings at the front and back, and what an absolutely beautiful sight. Hopefully we can do it justice with our football on the pitch. Let's go and tell the lads to pick up where they left off. That's what Stuart Jellings recommended. That's what we've done. A couple of lads are motivated, most are keen, and unfortunately our most experienced player, Trevor Shalabar, is nervous after listening to that. Maybe it's just the awe of the new stadium, but hopefully he'll perform well today, as will the rest of the side. Look at that, we've got an aerial view now. That shows that our stadium's getting taller. I've noticed how much higher we are to the pitch. What a brilliant start to the game, and hopefully we can get an early goal. One thing that should be noted from our first game of the season, that was away at Derby. We had a lot less possession as Broja has the first chance of the match, but he's straight at the keeper Cooper, who does well to hold it in the end. Bradford are back with the ball on the right. One thing that should be noted from previous games, particularly the Derby one, as well as some of the pre-season matches, is we've had a lot less possession than in previous seasons, where we've obviously had 3 or 4 in the middle and tried to dominate the game. This season we've just gone for the width, getting crosses in early and slightly more direct passing, as Alex Bass makes his first good save in a match, tipping wide from Deli Bashiru, and he's out for a corner to Bradford. Conceding would be disastrous, but the ball's into the back post and Shalabar heads away, though Bradford have got the ball on halfway again. It's Johnston with the ball forward down the left. He's hammered it out for a throw, and we've survived our first defensive action of the match, and the score remains 0-0. It's a corner on the left-hand side. Nico Williams to take. Rutherford heads it just wide. I thought he was going to get his first goal for the club, but it wasn't to be and the chance goes begging. It's Alex Bass with the ball in goal. We've got the instruction on him to get it out to the fullbacks, and he's done that with Otte. Up to Allingham, the number 10. He goes back to McDonald. The voice is starting to go again. It's still not recovered as Broja flicks the ball on and is cleared away to Cohen. He gets it into Broja, goes for the shot which is blocked, and it remains goalless with 20 minutes gone. Just a couple of minutes to the break, we're back with the corner. There's not much happening in this game, but Broja's had a point-blank chance. Reece Williams knocked it down from a corner, and the keeper's made a fantastic save to ensure that Bradford are level at 0-0 at half-time. We are looking better defensively, as we did against Derby, but we've lost a bit of our threat going forward. We certainly won't be top scorers in the league this year. It's Butterworth with the ball for Bradford. He switches it out to the right, and we've contained them really well, although the shots on target stats even. It's half time, it's still goalless. We'll go and talk to the lads. We'll tell them it's been disappointing. Again, we're following Jellings' advice. Our assistant manager seems to get it right more often than not, and most of the lads are motivated or fired up, hopefully with improved performances in the second half. We do have the option to go more attacking, but I want to keep things as they are for now. It really worked against Derby, but I can see this formation being more successful on the road. Nico Williams with a corner though. Reece Williams heads just over the bar, and we've got to make the most of these set pieces. pieces. You can probably tell I've done quite a lot of work on them, and Rhys Williams has won everything in there. He's so tall, he's 6'6", I think. He is indeed. He's got a 19 jumping reach, and hopefully he'll win a few more headers alongside Armando Broja, who's also brilliant in the air. It's Bradford with a free kick though. Otis Khan takes it, but it's blocked by the wall, and I'm not sure why we saw that, but Adam Lewis has one at the other end now. Again straight into the wall. Broja does well to work back and win it though. He finds Cohen. He's in the middle of the pitch and he's given the ball away. Really poor play by the right midfielder. He's got a terrible rating for this game. Rhys Williams win the tackle and it's gone back to Bass, but you can see Cole Cohen's got a poor rating, and with an hour gone we're going to take him off. Nico Williams will go further forward. He did brilliantly there in the first game against Derby, and we'll bring on the youngster Marcus Davis at right back to give him his first outing for the club. With Richard Quark now gone and no replacement signed, he could be our first team player moving forward. He'll come on now and he'll play against Bristol Rovers, and should he impress enough, he'll become our first choice right back. There's other changes we can make, but we'll leave it at one for now. We'd like to make a sub or two on the left wing, but we've got no backup options, so we'll just get back into the game and see if this one makes a difference. We're also going to go for a shout and demand a bit more from the lads, as we've got a throw in now on the right with Davis. That looked a very long throw. I'm not sure what his stat attribute is for that. We'll go and have a look in a minute. But Lewis at the back post, what a volley that was, and a brilliant save. Rutherford's lost out the second time, and unfortunately Bradford still hang on. What an anticlimax it would be if we drew this 0-0. I just checked Davis's throw-in rating. It's only 11, not particularly great, so we're going to go a little bit more attacking. We're going to take Courtney Otte off and put Adam Lewis at left back. He's going to go in as an overlapper. We're going to put the fullbacks both on attacking duties. We know they like to get forward, and it's both of their favoured roles. We're going to bring on Bobby Duncan on the left wing just to give us an extra striker on there. He's not particularly good in that role. I'll just check if Rutherford's any better. I don't think he is, so we'll go back to Bobby Duncan. We've got one more sub and I'm going to give it 5 minutes before giving John Gerrard the last 10 of the game. He was a super sub so many times last year. With Richard Quark gone, he's our star youth prospect and we've got to make it count. But Broja's got him behind from a free kick. We've scored our first goal at the new stadium. We've scored our first home goal of the season and we've got the lead against Bradford City. Simple as you like. Adam Lewis free kick. Armando Broja unmarked puts it in. It is a bit concerning that he's the only man who scored for us this year. A hat-trick at Derby and a goal now, but as long as we get the 3 points I just won't care. We're going to see out this attack, and if we don't concede we'll put our fullbacks back to supporting roles just to try and see out the game. Marcus Davis finds Shalabar. He's defended really well there, the fullback, and now we found Allingham in the middle. Back to Shalabar again. Can we use our composure and keep possession now? He's put Broja in over the top. He's had it saved and Rutherford could have got on the second, but it's just too much for him and he's been forced a bit wide. A silly foul by the Bradford man, and now we can make our subs before the free kick. We're going to change Adam Lewis and Marcus Davis back, and we're going to make our final change of the match. John Gerrard will come on for Rutherford. He'll go into his preferred pressing forward role, and that's just going to make sure that we've got hard-working strikers, closing the Bradford defenders down from the back. Let's get back into it for the last quarter of an hour, and if we can score from another set piece, that'll certainly make things more comfortable. Nico Williams into the middle. It's hat clear by Bradford, and with 10 to go, we've got a slender 1-goal lead, and really need to hang on to get our first 3 points at the new stadium at the first time of asking. It's far on the left-hand side for Bradford though. They're looking to get the ball forward and nick a point on the road. Borthwick Jackson finds Reynolds. I may have noticed that this sort of formation isn't quite going to work as well at home. Teams are going to sit behind the ball, but if we can find that bit of quality, hopefully we'll be okay. Otis Khan with a shot from the edge. It's wide of the post, and with 5 to go, we've got to see out the game as Alex Bass sensibly goes long. Broja flicks it down for Gerrard and it's headed away. McDonald gets it out to Duncan though. He's going to take on the fullback in the unfamiliar wide position, crosses brilliantly for Broja, but he heads it just wide of the post and Bradford survive at 1. Just 1 minute plus stoppage time to go. We're going to drop our team instructions, slow the pace down and hold shape when we win possession, and we're also going to time waste a little bit, or frequently in fact, just to try and see out the final few seconds. We'll see how many minutes of stoppage time are added. It's 5 in fact, and now Bradford have a free kick. Khan with a shot shot straight at the keeper, and Alex Bass does really well. We've dropped to balanced as we move into stoppage time. Adam Lewis with a free kick rattles the crossbar, and Cooper just picks it up. He's delighted to hold that. Ball into Gerrard from a long throw. Reynolds gets it away, and now Bradford have 3 up in attack. Watmore coming over halfway. They're charging men forward. Davis heads away, but it's only as far as the left back Borthwick Jackson. Nico Williams does really well to deflect it. It's out for a throw on the left for Bradford, and now they've got a man spare on the edge. Kamara finds Coyle. A man over on the right in Watmore cuts into the box, but it's brilliant defending. Broder it was back there. It wasn't Broder, it was Bobby Duncan covering on the left wing. What a brilliant bit of work by the striker. It's a ball into Watmore though. They've sliced us open, but Davis hacks it away on the right back area. Brilliant work by the fullback in the box, and with 45 seconds to hang on, it looks like we could get our first 3 points at home. It's going to be a brilliant christening for the new stadium. We're going to start with a win. We just need to be offensively solid. To get a clean sheet as well after last season would be some remarkable achievement, and I'm starting to feel optimistic for this year as John Gerrard chases down the left. Brilliant work to force a corner, and we're now going to drop to cautious. Apologies if you heard me smack the space bar then. I'm really getting a bit excited. It's Nico Williams with an in-swinger. He's taking as long as he wants. He doesn't even need to get it in the end. The whistle's blown and we win 1-0. Our first game at the new stadium. 14,000 Torquay fans here for the first time ever. And what a wonderful performance and result despite having less possession again. I'm absolutely delighted with the lads and we look really solid in this formation. We're going to tell the lads they did well and go and see what the media have said about the game. So a wonderful first 2 weekends of the season, a brilliant away win, scintillating on the counter-attack, and then a solid home win against Bradford where we never really looked like conceding, and in our first game at the new stadium, we've shown signs that we could turn it into a fortress. Unfortunately, my beloved Luton Town's form hasn't quite kept up to the same level. They lost at home to Preston to drop to mid-table, but if we can start as well as we did this year, I've got more confidence we could hang on this season and at least try and secure a place in the playoffs. I'll go back and see how many of you guessed that in the last episode, and hopefully we'll all be proven right at the end of the season. We've got 2 days of the transfer window to go though, so I've got a lot of work to do off camera. I'm going to see if I can nick anyone off my parent club Liverpool, and if we've got any good scout reports going, to maybe gamble on 1 or 2 good youngsters for the squad. But let's go and see what the media have said. Our pitch is bedded in. I'd like to hope so as well. It's a brand new stadium. We edge out Bradford in a narrow victory, but we just about dominated the stats, aside from possession, which isn't our priority. We've had an offer for Van Dongen accepted. He's a loanee from Liverpool. He would be our highest paid player at the club by some margin, but just look at his stats. He's a brilliant holding midfielder. He's played for Porto, PSV and Liverpool 13 times, so he could be an absolute asset to this squad, though I doubt he'll agree to join. Our scouts seem to think he would. They had him as a player we should target from the loan report for our parent club, but I really don't think he'll agree to join. The same applies for Purby, a number 10 which we don't really need, but he's absolutely excellent and we try and find a space for him. So really good options there, but I doubt either of them will join. So we'll just wait and see what our squad looks like in the next episode. We should have a few panic signings and hopefully a couple of good youngsters too. And most importantly, I hope we don't lose anyone else. That could be a real blow at this stage. Let's quickly go and have a look at the schedule to see when we'll next be back. We'll try and leave it a little while now as we've had a couple of big episodes at the start of the season. So I'll tell you what, we're going to go and play 10 league games off camera as well as the Carabao Cup tie, and then we're going to come back after the October international break. I'm going to show you the game at home to my beloved Luton Town. They've joined us up in the Championship, hopefully the league they'll be playing in real life next year, but on that occasion we'll be supporting Torquay and hoping we can get a victory for them. We want to continue our push for promotion. It would be great to stay on plan for season 10, but I've got a sneaky suspicion we'll have to have one more year at this level, now we've lost another star player. But that will be all for this episode. If you did enjoy it and you did like the look of our new stadium, please put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know in the comments what you thought of our new ground. Did it look as good as you were expecting it to? Or were you expecting a bit more? I was certainly delighted with it. Aside from the Quark loss, which was out of our hands, what do you think of the players we've let go? Do you think I've made the right decisions? And what do you think of our new tactic now you've seen it in action? Do you think it's going to work both home and away? Or do we need to think about ways to break teams down at home. It was the same problem last year at home. Our formation didn't really work. Maybe it's just teams sitting deep against us, which we really tend to struggle with our team. We've got young attacking players. They want to catch teams out on the break, and when they've got the pressure of creating something themselves, they don't all seem to have the technical ability. Hopefully with our 2 new Lone Stars this year, we'll be able to do that a bit better, but we got the win and that's the most important thing, and I'm delighted with how this season started. Subscribe to the channel for daily FM19 content from my 2 long-term stories, this one with Torquay United and in our Journeyman series The Head Coach, where we work under a director of football with no say in transfers or contracts. And keep your eye out on the channel on Fridays for some content from other sports games. The first of 3 games which I wanted to try this spring was Snooker 19. That came out this week, and the first episode of that career mode should have come out on Friday, all things being well. So if you are a fan of other sports games, do come along and check them out. It's the first time I'm making content from other sports games. It's something I've always wanted to do, so let me know what you think of it, and if you enjoy it, we'll certainly make more of it. But a massive thanks for watching and your continued support with the series, and we'll see you next time for another big game from the Championship as I try to put my professional career above the club in my heart.